Hello, everyone. We welcome you to a special show where we're talking about education throughout the community today. And we're with Dr. Chuck Ledbetter here at the board offices of Dublin City Schools. And the report card came out for all of the state of Georgia, and we're here to discuss that with you today. Dr. Ledbetter, thank you so much for taking time. You're so busy, especially this time of year.
We appreciate y'all being willing to talk with us and get information out to the public, and we're always glad to talk about education and how important we think it is and the job that our educators are doing here in Dublin City Schools.
Well, we had No Child Left Behind, and then last year was kind of the effort on CCRPI. I have to refer to my note, ladies and gentlemen, because it's College and Career Ready Performance Index.
Yes.
And last year was kind of the test year for that, right?
Right. Last year was the first year they used that, and this year is the second, and they've still been adjusting things a little bit. So it's a little bit of a moving target still, but we're getting closer, I think, to a more comprehensive understanding of what's happening in the schools.
I hope so. Dr. Ledbetter, and any educator who's worth their salt wants a better way to read how successful it's going for our students and how well we're preparing them. And I think the last time we spoke, Dr. Ledbetter, you talked about preparing the young people of Dublin City Schools for life, not
Absolutely.
just to get a grade, and it's a life
That's
preparation.
correct, and that's what the school system's here for, is really to be part of the economic fabric of the community, to really not only prepare our children for the future and for life, but to make the area better. You know, you want to have good jobs, you got to have well-prepared workers. You want to have places to go purchase the things you want, the stores you want, the restaurants you want. All those things come when there's an educated populace to deal with them and to make it happen, to make the work happen, to make the jobs come, then people have money to spend. And so we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to help our students, to help our community, and really to be successful in life.
And Dr. Ledbetter, when I see the young people, when we're in and out, or they're in and out of the studio, wherever I may see a Dublin City School student, they seem to carry themselves well. They seem to be very polite, very respectful. And that's just a feather in your cap. And the people that
I say this school system has tremendous educators,
yes,
great students,
yes,
great parents, and you know, we're trying to prepare them for the future, and our educators are very focused on what I call value added. Talk a lot about the fact that, you know, I got a 2-year-old grandson. I could put him out in the fenced yard for a year, and he's going to grow and he's going to learn something. Okay, so how much are we adding that they're not going to be getting anyway? And that's what we want to focus on, so that every child who walks through our door, no matter how much they have with them when they walk in, that we're adding value to that year that they're in my classroom as a teacher, and to those years they're in our school system.
That's a great analogy. You're a year older, what have you done with it?
Right.
You know, when you say that to adults who may say, well, I want to go back to school, I want to go back to school, you know, and that's just a famous,
Right.
you know, comeback for many people. Well, where are you going to be in a year? Where are you going to be in 3 years or 4 years? You know, will you be 4 years older and not have the degree? Be 4 years older and have it. Same principle applies with our young people, but even more so, because as we well know, they're sponges. So we wanted to come over and speak to you about this, about the way that the test is actually laid out. From what we're understanding and sharing with the public, you can grade a 100 and get a 10-point bonus. And it's broken down into percentages, a 60, a 25, and a 15.
Right.
And people need to understand where that's coming from. So go through that for us.
Well, and a little bit of this, it's been, I wasn't prepared to answer exactly. The 60 is achievement.
Yes.
Okay, the 60 comes straight from your test score, and how your test scores went in the school. And then there's improvement, and then there's overcoming the odds, essentially, sort of a little bit built in there, saying where compared to other people in your same subgroup, how did you perform, and how did that group perform? So you know, one of the things that we've been very pleased with this year is on an apples-to-apples comparison in 2012 to 2013, we had improvement at every school. We're not where we want to be at any school. And frankly, we never, if we're ever happy with where we are, there's something wrong with us.
If you ever score 110, watch out.
Well, yeah, but if we ever are sitting there saying, I've got a 90 and that's good enough, well, I've got issues with that too.
Sure,
We want to
sure.
continue to get better, continue to improve, and so. But I was very proud that we did improve. One of the things that we saw was improvement everywhere we turned, and we were very, very excited about that.
Is there one school that really excelled for you this year? And I don't want to ask you an unfair question.
Well, Dublin High School was our flagship, and continues to be, and always has been. It's a tremendous school. We have great graduates all over the world, awesome. and in colleges all over the state and the country. We'll be sending some more out here soon, and to Athens and Atlanta and Statesboro and Milledgeville and all over. And we were very pleased to see Dublin High School with a 79, and the state average for high schools was 71.8.
Right.
We're happy about 79, but we don't feel like it's good enough. And that's why I was saying, we're really pleased at the job our educators are doing in improving the school. We've seen, a great increase in this past year in that CCRPI index. At the same time, we know we can continue to have room to improve.
And if we look at across the state, the numbers that we saw, through press releases and what have you, shows that high schools actually dropped, as a statewide average, ladies and gentlemen, dropped about a percentage point.
Right.
About, as you say, 71 and a little over, maybe
Right.
close to 72, dropped about 1 point.
Right.
But there, Dublin High School, almost at an 80 mark.
Right.
And you're looking at an average overall. You're not, again, you're figuring in all areas of that.
Yes, and so we were very pleased with that, very pleased with the work that's being done there. We just have some of the greatest educators, I truly believe, teachers, administrators, who do just a tremendous job, and they're dedicated, and it shows.
Yeah, they have that goal in mind.
They do.
Yeah, that's why they come to work.
And I'll say this, I think educators, teachers, period, once they focus to work on something, it's going to happen. And I've seen it over and over. We put in a program, and I say we, I don't mean just Dublin City Schools, I mean in public education. We put in a program and say, well, we're going to work on reading. And 3 years later, reading scores are up. We said we're going to work on math. Well, 3 years later, math scores are up. What we've got to get better at is being able to do the whole piece of the puzzle and getting everybody all the way with where they need to get to.
All right, and again, I'm kind of going to put you on the spot here,
Sure.
but what area, either elementary, middle, obviously high is doing well, what's the area that we need to work the most on?
Well, we had improvement at every school. At the same time, we need to see much more improvement in the elementary grades. One of the things that we're really working on is vocabulary attainment. Particularly students with lower income, research shows, come to school with lower vocabularies. So we've got to do some things to help close that gap. It's not that they can't learn. They can learn just as well as anybody else.
Absolutely.
It's that they haven't been exposed to as many words.
Yes, sir.
And so we've got to find ways to expose those students to more words. We've got to spend more time connecting with parents and getting parents to understand the necessity of reading to their children, exposing those children to those words and getting them so that when they walk in at 4 and 5 years old, they don't already have a deficit that they're having to have to work to overcome.
Sure. And that's true in so many of our areas here in Middle Georgia and Georgia and in the South in general.
It is.
And we need to overcome that. And again, you're calling on parents to read more. And during the summertime is an excellent time because they have so much time on their hands. Charge your kids, I'm sure you'd agree, charge your kids, with reading a book a week or, so many chapters, whatever level they may be on. But where do we get books in the summer? Do we go to the library?
Well, the library is one place.
Access online?
We do. Well, here's the thing. The library is, of course, the first place.
Right.
We're working right now on a thing where we can we talked with our school board about it, and we're hoping that by next year we'll be able to roll out an online plan where any of our students can read up to 6,000 books online, and they can choose them by their reading level. It'll actually assign them by the reading level.
Awesome.
As they get better, they can get a better book. So, we realize that's a critical component. and being able to do that, and being able to also, like I say, connect more and more with our parents, so that they understand. When that young child is there at home, they want nothing more than to sit in your lap and have you read a book, at least for a little while. They may get bored at some point, but at least for a little while, they want mom or daddy's attention.
That's right.
And to foster that, and to take every opportunity to kind of build on that, with whatever books, so that those children start to learn the importance of that and the importance of those words. Also build a great bond with their parents.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Ledbetter, if it's not too early to ask you, how do we look on a graduation rate for this year?
I don't know quite yet. We'll be good, I think. We anticipate at Dublin High School, we were almost 88% 2 years ago. We were 83% last year. They're looking to get back up above that 88% mark this year. So I don't know yet. There's still, it's still a lot. Folks working hard and getting ready and trying to make sure that they've crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's.
And it takes faculty, it takes administration, it takes a community too.
It does.
Those in the church, those that see these young people out, encourage them all the way through. That education is so important.
Absolutely.
You're not going anywhere really without education, and if you can get at least a high school education, many people have been very successful with a high school education.
Right. Well, and the world has changed. I mean, used to you could quit school in 6th or 8th grade and go to the textile mill and make a good living, and those jobs have just gone away.
Right.
And so our children have to be able to live in this information age, and in this. And to do that means they've got to be able to communicate. They've got to be able to problem solve and think critically. And so, it's not a question anymore of, do I need to do it? It's a question of you got to get it done.
Coming up on graduation time, I know. It's the end of the year.
It's getting close. Yes, we're 4 weeks out. So.
Yeah, I know you're so busy, and I appreciate you taking a moment to speak to us.
I
because
appreciate
of
the
viewers.
opportunity.
We always get calls and emails. We get comments on anytime we come out and speak to you, and people really appreciate you.
We appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all coming and talking to us, and we're just glad what our students are doing here in Dublin.
Amen. Thank you, Dr. Ledbetter. And
Thank
you for joining us here on TV 35.